take the flight, and I look at it in my heart. I feel a little fear. I'm racing towards my destiny. I gotta keep my conscience clear. The blue sky's got a star I should be standing on. It's my turn, and I'm ready to take the world on. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna run away. Run away. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna run away. We're gonna ride this inside time. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna run away. This inside time. It's our time to die. It's their time to change. We don't need a reason why. Let's make a change. They make us new. Now we're on the move. Nothing we can hold to. It's our time. We're on to the world. We're on to. We gon' rule the world. Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your girl AniYa A, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let's do a quick little check-in. Let's do a quick little sound check, if you will. It says that I'm definitely live here, which I'm totally excited about. As you guys know, we have another live and amazing show tonight for all of you. And give me a quick second as I try to also get myself onto another platform. So we're already on about 5 platforms now. And we're just going to add one more platform because we do not want to miss tonight's content. As you guys know, last night was a super amazing show. I'm talking about hands down the best show ever. But we're looking to top that tonight. As you guys know, we are always looking to make our shows better and better every night as we're here together. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm already getting feedback that people are having a hard time hearing me. So hold on, we're just gonna check all the devices because we wanna make sure that you guys hear us plain and simply tonight, because it is in your best advantage to keep up with us, know what's going on, listen to us, and also be able to hear our guests. As we are here at this moment, somebody's definitely trying to call in. 1 second, let's see who this is. Oh, we can't even talk right now. Anyway, so people are looking to call in already. Guys, we cannot take any call-ins right now because the show just started. So please give us a few minutes. And of course, we will most definitely come back with you in just a few. Leave a comment, leave a question if you have any, but just know that we will be with you momentarily as we get everything together for the AniYa A show. And also stand by because we want you guys to be a part of everything that we're doing tonight. So let me know where you guys are watching out of. As you know, we try to do the quick, where you at type deal. So let us know where you're out of, where you're watching from, and how you feel tonight. It's so important that we communicate how we feel. Okay, every day I try to, I try to do this thing where I ask you guys how you're feeling, what's going on. I try to also, leave commentaries on my pages to see how you guys are doing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and things of that nature. And so what I wanted to do to start off is just see how you guys are doing tonight, how you're feeling wherever you are. I'm praying and hoping you're feeling super dope, right? Because I know I am. I got a little bad news earlier today, but guess what? It's not going to stop me. I am in good spirits tonight. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it through another night of the AniYa A show, but God is faithful and he's allowing me to keep going in the midst of everything happening. So with that being said, I wanted to definitely start off by saying welcome to all of you. And again, thank you for joining us. We have a super powerful show tonight. And don't forget, we also have our sidekick, AKA our friend and co-host Dion Powell, who will be joining us in just a little bit. So just understand that is happening very soon. So let me know if you guys can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. I don't know why we're getting some interference with the lives on Instagram, but that's okay because we're going to restart Instagram real quick before we go ahead and get the party started, right? Which means before we go ahead and introduce our guest for tonight, we want to definitely have all the platforms ready. And even though we already had the platforms ready, sometimes in this highly technological world that we live in, amen, sometimes things act a little bizarre. So we are just going to hope and pray for the best on tonight. But I see one of my platforms is definitely here. There's another platform that's saying checking the connection. Listen, we're just gonna stay positive because at the end of the day, every time we do something great and have somebody amazing on our platform, it seems like there wants to be some kind of technological device problems or something of the sort. So we're not gonna even front and act like we don't know what's going on in today's society, and the devil is mad. So, okay, we're not gonna take up much more time in regards to these devices, although we would have prayed and hoped that these devices would have been working, but we do have a special guest that's waiting to join us tonight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna read this brother's bio to you guys to let you guys know who he is and what he's doing on the AniYa A show tonight, okay? Because it's super important that we show people love while they're doing all the fantabulous work that they're doing in their communities all around the world, right? So real quick, guys, this is the story of Mr. Christopher Everett. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know again where you're watching out of, where you are hailing out of, how you're feeling tonight. All of those great things matter to us here on the AniYa A show. Share, share, share also this live feed. Let the people of your community know that you are watching, and they should too. So let's talk about Mr. Christopher Everett and who he is. You ready? Christopher Everett is a Durham-based producer and director of the award-winning documentary film Wilmington on Fire. He is the president of Speller Street Films, North Carolina's premier film production and distribution company, and currently works with Full Frame Documentary Film Festival as a communications manager. His notable awards include Best Local Independent Film from Encore Magazine 2016 and Best Director First Feature, independent film from Encore Magazine 2016 and Best Director First Feature Documentary from Pan-African Film Festival 2017. Christopher is currently filming his next two documentaries, Wilmington on Fire 2 and Grandmaster, which looks at the legacy of martial arts pioneer Vic Moore. He also executive produced the documentary Black Beach, White Beach, A Tale of Two Beaches, and the sci-fi short, The Black Baptism. His company, Speller Street Films, is gearing up for the release of the 2002 underground cult classic As an Act of Protest. So guys, give it up, give it up, give it up for Mr. the one and only Mr. Christopher Everett, who is with us in the studio. We're just gonna try one more time with IG. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna pray against the devil's wicked ways and pray that the IG works, amen, because we have such a great following on IG, and a lot of the people on IG are not on Facebook. So we're just gonna pray that this thing connects on tonight. And if it doesn't, you guys just really quickly share this information on your IG pages and just let people know to come to Facebook, because it looks like Facebook is on and popping, but we also have NVSA NYC on Instagram that's on and popping right now. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Christopher Everett as promised, and let's talk to him tonight. Let's see if this works. Hi, Christopher.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you very loudly and clearly, honey.
Cool. What's up?
Awesome, awesome. So I see that we're live on Facebook. I don't know if you're able to share and things of that nature.
Yeah, I did.
You did. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we're good to go on that platform. Literally, it's been so wild because just to let you know, I was live on IG, on the IG platforms, and then all of a sudden, IG wants to act crazy and berserkle, but that's okay. As long as we can see you and hear you live on Facebook, we are not going to waste time and we're going to keep it moving. And hopefully our IG followers will follow us to, the Facebook platform. So what I'm going to do is I'll put out a quick little memo on IG real quick to let the people know. So as I'm working on that, you'll tell us who you are a little bit deeper, Christopher. I mean, I just absolutely have such a respect for you. As you know, I always thought you were the one that did the whole Black Wall Street years ago, but apparently that wasn't your documentary. I don't think. No. It wasn't, but you're the one who put it out, and that's how we met, I think, initially, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Because I'm like, I know I'm not bugging. And ever since then, Christopher, you have put out so much great content. I've been following you for years on social media. You're one of the people I highly respect in this game because it seems like you just go out of the typical status quo. You do not follow these rules and regulations of, I guess, Hollywood, and you just do your thing, right? And I respect that about you. So, that's how I originally met him, guys. If you guys are wondering how I know this brother, we've never met face to face. Actually, yesterday was the first time we had like a conversation with the Zoom and talked. And now, literally, we're doing this interview. So, Christopher, tell us a little bit more about you and how you got started in this game.
Well, my name is Christopher Everett. I'm a producer, director, writer, graphic artist. I'm originally from Laurinburg, North Carolina. It's a little small, rural town in North Carolina. So that's where I'm from, born and raised. And actually, that's where I actually named my company after, Speller Street. That's the street I grew up on in Laurinburg, so that's the place where I got all my creativity, you know what I'm saying? And wanting to do, creative type of things like drawing and films and stuff like that. But so, after college, I moved to Charlotte, and that's where I went to King's College to pursue a degree in graphic arts. And so that's when I kind of started doing things, on a more creative side. And so after I did that, I started doing a little modeling and acting. I was about 100 pounds lighter back in those days. so I was
It's okay. You can model at any size. You can model and act at any
I'm just giving you the time frame. But I was doing acting and modeling, doing a lot of commercials in New York and down this way and Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I moved to Georgia.
I had no idea.
I moved to Georgia in 2007. And just to try to take my modeling and acting to the next level. Tyler Perry was starting to do his thing down that way. So I just wanted to kind of get my feet wet, see what was going on. And things just didn't work out. So I just decided to start making my own projects. So I just started, shadowing and working for free on different independent film projects, just learning the game inside and out. And then that's what led me to eventually move back to North Carolina and do my first ever documentary feature, which was called Wilmington on Fire.
Excellent. Now, let's talk about that because that was quite a few years ago. Right. Let's talk about the inspiration behind that because, again, you were in the industry. Things didn't work out 100%, I guess, as you wanted them to. However, you didn't let it stop you, Christopher. No. You just turned whatever was happening around and you rebranded yourself, it seems like, and you went straight ahead with something you were passionate about. So let's talk about how that rebranding process was for you. And then the Wilmington on Fire, like I deeply want to know how you just, got up on that for sure.
Well, the whole rebranding process, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, what I'm saying, of, controlling my own destiny, making my own stuff eventually anyway. So that was something that I always wanted to do. I just thought that, I wanted to do acting and modeling first. I wanted to kind of build that base first and then make the transition. But the transition had to come a little early because one, the job where I was at, we had a big layoff. So I had to make a decision when I was in Atlanta. So I had came up with the concept to do Wilmington on Fire while I was living in Atlanta. It was like 2010, and right before I moved back to North Carolina. And, I was just, looking for something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a documentary on something first. I wanted to do a documentary first, not a narrative, because I just love documentary and about history, about our people that we don't know about, or that's not really talked a lot in the mainstream.
Exactly.
And so, I knew about the Wilmington massacre somewhat. So I was like, you know what, let me see if someone has actually done it before I try to do this, because I ain't trying to knock or bite nobody. You know what I'm saying? If somebody already had done it, I can just do something else. So I just researched and saw that no one actually did a feature documentary on it. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the initiative. But again, I just got laid off from my job at the time. So I decided to move back to North Carolina, convince my grandparents to let me stay with them while I pursued this artistic endeavor. And how that probably went over with them. They're from the old school. They're like, man, what are you doing with this film stuff? You need to get a job. So,
get a job.
Yeah. So, but they believed in me. And so what we did was we did what we needed to do. I reached out to folks that wanted to be a part of the team. The budget was real low, but everybody wanted to be a part of this, and everybody knew that this was an important story to tell. And so we all came together. We started filming November 2011, and we actually finished filming everything in 2015. Yeah, it took about 3 to 4 year period of filming and biting and clawing and using my money, blood, sweat, and tears to put it together. But we eventually did. And out the blue, an NBA player hit me up and wanted to partner with me, and that's how I was able to actually get the finishing funds to finish the film.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after that, we premiered November 2015 at the Cucalores Film Festival. And that's a big film festival down here in North Carolina. It's one of the premier festivals in North Carolina to show, they show it all, narratives, docs, the whole nine. And we actually premiered there, and we actually broke their attendance record. And we actually still have, we still have their attendance record to this day. So I guess part two will probably break that.
I love it. That is so amazing. That is so amazing. And when you chose to do it on this particular topic, what drew you about Wilmington on Fire? What drew you to the actual content? Because and then just to let you know, there are some comments already coming in. Okay. As I told you, this is a very interactive program and platform. And as we're switching from, StreamYard to Zoom and all over the place, I'm learning all the different variables of these platforms. So bear with me. I will go into the comments momentarily. But for right now, for those that are watching, right, Christopher, the reason I do what I do, and a lot of people don't know, is because the people that I interact with, especially on social media, if you are doing something positive, I want to highlight you. I want you to motivate the people how you motivate me, right? And so that's why I predominantly, choose the people I choose. For anybody watching, don't think it's anything biased. It's just literally some of the people that I'm associating with and friends with on social media have such a story, have such a platform, and I love to showcase what you're doing. So tell the people who are watching now, who probably feel down and out because their dreams haven't come true, or let's say they just lost their job, like you lost your job years ago, and due to the Rona, let's put the Rona in the mix, they lost their job, but they're creative at heart. They have a desire to create something, make a movie or what have you, but they never went through with it. What can you share with them early on in this interview that can help motivate them to keep going like you did?
Well, I would just say, believe in God, one, never give up as well. When I lost my job, it was during that time with when we had that recession going on.
Yes,
a lot of companies were going off. Yeah. So, a very similar situation to what's going on right now. And, the thing is,
sorry, go ahead.
It's cool. But, the thing is, it's just like, if you got a dream, just stick with it. And also you got to look at it. Hey, what do you got to lose? I'd rather try it and not succeed than not try it at all. And that was my mentality going into it. And that's how you got to be. Wow. You got to say, what's the worst that can happen? Just try it out. You never know what can happen. And I'm a living testament that, and also it doesn't even matter where you live at. Because like I said, I was living in Laurinburg, North Carolina, small country town. And I was able to do this project and also reach a whole bunch of people across the world with this film, because you got to remember the internet has changed the game. A lot of the people that I connected with and a lot of people that have shown support all over the country, 20, 30 years ago, I would have to be in LA and New York to make those connections. All these connections came through the internet of what we're doing right now. And so we're in a good time right now where, you know, you might feel kind of down and out, but believe me, the internet has really opened the door. You just got to just create the work, make it quality as possible, and start promoting yourself and getting yourself out there. And the rest will take care of itself. Trust me, I know. You know, when we put this thing together, you know, I didn't know that it was going to have the impact that it did, but it did. And we started small. You know, you start small and you grow large. You know, we started with small screenings, small festivals, and it just kept growing and growing. And that's how you got to look at it. Just start small, do great content. You know, if you're doing film, but whether you're doing writing, it don't matter. Just do it. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, I've talked to a lot of people all the time who want to do creative projects, and some people want to write books. Some people want to do a whole bunch of stuff, you know, make an album, you know what I'm saying? So I tell them, man, do it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Especially the time right now when, you know, this COVID-19 stuff is going on. Hell, even I'm still learning stuff, you know, like during this downtime, I'm taking online courses, you know, brushing up on my skills and learning new things. So, you know, I haven't made it yet in my eyes. I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And that's what you have to do.
That's it. I love that. You're still learning and you're still growing. And some people don't understand that concept. They think, and you know, I'm guilty of that. Just to let you know, one time I was making so much money doing what I was so passionate about, and I became lazy. I became complacent and thought, oh, I'm making this money, everything is Gucci and I don't need to work hard anymore. And then one day I woke up and it dawned on me that people like Oprah and like Tyler Perry, like you just mentioned moments ago, they made it. They have multi-million-dollar accounts and things of that nature, but they're never too tired or too lazy to reach the next level and head to the next goal. So it's so interesting that you said that. And then I got a comment just now. So there's a couple comments coming in. Pamela Clark, our favorite, you know, friend, is joining us tonight. We also have Chaplain, Minister, Ambassador Peter Zaquan Jones. He's commenting on the hat. I put on my hat especially for you tonight, Christopher. For those that are wondering, where did this hat even come from? It's all beat up. It's super old. It's like my favorite thing from the Dr. Oz show. I don't know if you know, but I've been with the Dr. Oz show for years, and we've had our ups and downs, especially when it comes to being represented in the communities that we are in. But that's okay because we're still working out a lot of different things. But I wanted you to know, I put this hat on for you because it is a production night. Cool. And we're definitely excited. Now, talk to us a little bit more about the other projects you have, because I know you have Wilmington on Fire too. That word is such a tongue twister for me. For some strange reason, I always get it all like mixed up. Wilmington on Fire too, and then you also have several other projects coming up. Talk to us about that as we get our co-host Dion J. Powell on with us.
Okay. Well, you know, Wilmington on Fire, you know, the first one, it's about the 1898 Wilmington Massacre in Wilmington, North Carolina. A lot of people don't know about this. You know, a lot of people know about Rosewood because of John Singleton's movie years ago. A lot of people know about Black Wall Street in Tulsa from like books and, you know, TV specials and stuff like that. And also with the recent Watchmen TV series, you know, really brought the Black Wall Street Tulsa story to life somewhat. But Wilmington was before all of them. And it was here right in, you know, my home state of North Carolina. And this was actually an actual coup d'etat, overthrow of a government. And that's what makes that one more significant than a lot of these racial massacres, you know, that were on Black folks during this time. And Black people in Wilmington were prospering. They were in political office. They had businesses. They were doing their thing. And it was really like a mixed society in Wilmington. And this new experiment they were calling fusion politics, where white and Black folks were working together. But you had a white supremacy movement that wanted to tear that apart. And that's what they did through voter intimidation, mass murder, banishment campaigns. And that's what they did on November 10th, 1898 in Wilmington, North Carolina with the Wilmington Massacre. And so my film, Wilmington on Fire, pretty much we combine a whole bunch of people. We have direct descendants of some of the victims. of the 1898 massacre. We have historians, authors, activists, independent researchers. It was cool, just a combination of all these brilliant minds coming together to tell this important story in American history and also our history as well. So,
Yeah.
that's what the first one was. And part two, where we're going with that, and we should be releasing a trailer probably by the end of the month.
Excellent.
And yeah, it's looking good too. And so, part two is taking it to the next step, because in the end of part one, we dive into reparations somewhat. And so we don't really go into it that much. So that's where part two is coming. Part one, the history, we know the impact, what happened to our people. So now it's time to come with that check. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we going with it hard, with reparations, and also folks in Wilmington as well who are, trying to rebuild that entrepreneurship spirit. Back to the Black community. But see, we need that. Plus we need reparations, because if we get reparations and we ain't got no businesses, there's no point. So,
Exactly.
they both kind of go hand in hand. So we need to start and grow our businesses. So when the reparations come, we got some money to put it to get use. So that's what that is.
I love it. I love it. And I love the essence that you start off with the history, then you go into the second part straight up like, okay, we told you guys about the past, but here's the future and what it looks like. And I love that. I need you to send me all trailers, everything.
Oh yeah, I sent it to you.
Excellent, because we will be blasting everything because I've watched myself. I've sat and cried. I've listened to some of the things that you've put on, and again, that's how I came to know who you were. And honestly, I don't even know how it happened, but it kind of happened organically, because one of the things that people, and it's almost like a broken record saying this, but for the first time, people that are joining us tonight, as well as those who may not even know a thing about me, which is okay too. I literally am a Haitian American. My history is different than the Black American experience and the Black American history. So what happens is I get so inundated and just so consumed with what really happened to Black America, because we do not know all these things amongst our communities. Right. The Caribbean, the American Black, the African Black, we're all so separated. And I believe that was by design, right? Because of course, if you keep a people segregated and separated, they're never going to know how to love one another and work together and prosper. So I know it was by design. Sorry, you keep hearing a little ring. That's all my devices trying to reboot right now.
It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, I'm sorry, because I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I thought it was somebody trying to, call in or something. My fault.
No. The people that are calling in, they're going to have to wait. But I am getting comments. So speaking of, the call-ins, we have comments, we have people liking, and I feel so bad because the Instagram is not up right now. But this is what we're going to do. I am going to, bring on Dion Powell, and then I will also take this time to read our comments, because we have people commenting. And for those that are watching before Dion comes in, feel free to literally send us more comments and more questions, because they have questions for you as we speak. So here is our newcomer, Mr. Dion Powell, who is the co-host of the AniYa A show, and he is connecting. And as he's connecting, so we have one comment already from DC, aka my twin, DC Constant, says, what does he do as of now to keep his creativity or creative fire going? Okay. So DC wants to know, what do you do as of now, since we're in this time, to keep that, I guess, that mojo going?
I'll say, I just, like other independent filmmakers, that's what keeps me going, just seeing other people be creative. Of all the art genres, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm connected with a lot of people that are musicians, artists, painters. 'Cause I love, art as well. So things like that keeps me motivated, because I like to combine a lot of those things as well to even my own film stuff. So, other independent creatives really keep me motivated. Like, I have this, I was part of a group that we started in Durham. We have like a Black film collective that me and a colleague of mine, we started a couple of years ago, where we bring all these Black creatives together, and work on film projects together. So we just had a little Zoom meeting last night, because we do workshops, we do all of that. And so being around folks like that keep me motivated, and seeing what's out here, the new films that's coming out on the independent scene, going to film festivals and seeing what's new and what's out there, you know, all that type of stuff keeps my creative juices going.
Excellent. That is awesome. So talking about creative juices, Dion just appeared, but real quick, we have Hi from Carmen Kikones, who we love. She's with us tonight. First time. Huh? You're here. I see you. Hold on. We have some comments and questions.
Hey, brother. How are you, Chris?
Doing well, doing well.
Had to give me some brownie.
So Adrian Whaley loves Dion. We're asking the questions real quick, and then you're gonna jump in. Hold on. It says, I'd like to have the trailer also for the October festival. Adrian Whaley has a festival, a film festival, who Dion actually got us connected with.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop. And she wants to connect with you for her festival. Yeah. So Adrian, send that information. So what we'll do is get you guys connected.
Yeah, just tell the inbox me. Tell the inbox me on Facebook. Tell the inbox me on Facebook.
Because we want to be a part of everything happening. Oh yes, Peace Queen William. Okay, Adrian, he wants after, just keep us in the loop because we want to see the success. People are writing from every different platform. Black family, we in the building all the way from Brooklyn. Angela Williams says, thank you. Want people to understand and comprehend when watching your films. Super important. Super important. Some of the things you want us to comprehend and learn when we're watching your films, Chris.
I guess some of the things I want you to, you know, comprehend and learn is, you know, one, you know, our people have always been excellent. You know, we came out of hostile situations, terrible situations, you know, with slavery, also Jim Crow, but we made a way, especially in Wilmington, where my film talks about what, you know, you had Black business owners and politicians and everything at very early on, you know, right after slavery. So it shows that, you know, we can accomplish a lot of things if we put our mind to it. But also, I want people to also comprehend that there's still a debt that needs to be paid. And that debt is reparations. And until we get that, you know, our community and plus the United States of America really can't fully be whole or fully be corrected. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, reparations overall helps everyone. It helps this country because you have more Black folks with money, more Black people able to start businesses and grow their businesses. Therefore, they can hire more people, you know, contribute more to the tax base in our society. And so it not only helps Black people, but it helps the country as a whole. It'll pretty much strengthen the country. And that's really the whole thing of what Wilmington on Fire shows, is that when we had an equal, just society, we accomplished some great things as Black folks. But when you do these things to disrupt that, these are the results of what happened: of mass unemployment, lack of wealth, lack of Black businesses, you know what I'm saying? So those are the things I want people to really see out of that. And I think people have actually understood it once they see it, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people want to watch it about 3 or 4 times because they say every time they watch it, they get something new out of it.
Uh-oh, I think she's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I thought it was me.
No, it's her. Oh. I believe her Wi-Fi connection is not what it should be, and some things of that nature. But I missed some of your portion, my brother, because I was on a Zoom party. You know, somebody's birthday, and they're doing the cool kids little Zoom party.
Hold on, I think she's trying to get in.
Of course. So powerful like that, and that is literally the programming that
yeah, I think she's gonna restart or something.
Let me send her a message.
All right. I sent her one as well, but you can go ahead.
Okay, my brother. So I wasn't on at the beginning. Could you give me a little synopsis
Yeah.
of what you were talking about? Because I only did so much research.
Yeah. Well, the film I did, Wilmington on Fire, is about the 1898 Wilmington massacre in
Right.
Wilmington, North Carolina. It's considered one of the only coup d'etats that's ever happened in the United States. And a coup d'etat is a violent overthrow of an existing government. And they actually, it's
Wow.
white supremacy. Yeah, it was a white supremacy movement, man, that overthrew the government in Wilmington, North Carolina on November 10th, 1898, man. And they pretty much disrupted this whole white and black fusion coalition of white Republicans and black Republicans as well that joined forces to create this fusion movement to put their people in office. And you had black folks that had businesses in Wilmington, and Wilmington was a growing city. It was one of the largest cities in North Carolina back then. It
Right.
wasn't Charlotte.
I think I've read about this. Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
but it's like it's a situation that's not highlighted like Black
Right.
Wall Street, but it's
Right.
one of those situations like that. Yeah,
It
I read
is.
about that. Yeah.
It is.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, man. And so, that's what it was. And, a lot of people were murdered. A lot of people were exiled out the city. And in my film, we have some of the direct descendants of some of the victims. Like one of the guys, his grandfather's business was burned down, and he's in the film. We have one lady, her great grandfather lost all his property, and he was exiled out the city. So we have a combination of actual direct descendants, historians, researchers, authors, you know what I'm saying? So the film is very thorough from front to back. We won several awards for it.
Well, it's a
Last year,
documentary, right?
there's a documentary, Wilmington on
yeah.
Fire, WilmingtonOnFire.com. And last summer, man, when they had that big congressional hearing on reparations in DC, we got a shout out during that whole panel discussion by Dr. Julianne Malveaux, shouted the film out and urged everyone to watch it. So that kind of, added more, fuel to the fire, so to speak, man, with this whole movement we're trying to do with this thing.
Right. So she's recording this, and to my understanding, we're still live on Facebook because they still see me most of the time. So I guess I'll carry the conversation here to a different direction because I'm in a political realm. I'm running for office in New York City, and I want to talk about the government aspect because I'm very big on that.
Right.
Now, present day, for example, I'm part of the NAACP, Urban League, National Network. What historical documents? Oh yeah, by the way, about me, right? More about me. My degree's in film, so I know the logistics of what you had to go through.
Right.
What historical records did you access? Like,
oh man, we had a whole bunch of
NAACP logs, congressional. I forget what it was called. Library of Congress, right? But the NAACP has like a whole history log too.
Yeah.
So how did you get your access to that footage?
See, our stuff was we didn't really get access to footage. A lot of stuff we had access to was photos, documents, newspaper articles, you know what I'm saying? Old letters, you know what I'm saying? They were written by like people that was there. We just had a treasure trove of stuff, man. Like a lot of the museums down this way, since it's a North Carolina based story and a Wilmington based story, a lot of the museums down this way had a lot of stuff. And also some of the direct descendants actually had stuff that was passed down to them for generations. You know what I'm saying? Like, so one prime example, one of the guys in the film, he had his grandparents' letters that they, were writing back then. You know what I'm saying? They just kept them. So, and a lot of those letters talked about detailed descriptions of what happened during those weeks, during the massacre. So it's like just a lot of firsthand accounts, man, from letters, journals, newspaper articles from back then, because this was a statewide white supremacy movement that just wasn't spontaneous. So newspapers around the country and around through North Carolina was writing about the hype, I guess the lead up to this stuff as well.
Sorry for my ignorance right now because I didn't really get a chance to look deep into this like I have before when I read it. But what was the time period? What's 1800s, early 1900s?
Yeah, 1898.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the beginning and end? What was the month and the year beginning and end?
November 10th, 1898. That was the day of the massacre. It lasted for about a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it lasted for about a week.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm deep into the Black culture, but I'm on what I call the lift yourself up by the bootstraps
Right,
side of
right, right,
things.
right, right,
And
right. I get you.
research, legislation and
Right.
meetings and that kind of being how can I say proactive than reactive, thinking
Yeah,
long term.
definitely.
So North Carolina, I believe, because it was like a list of other cities that's not highlighted because Black Wall Street is like the Hollywood right now, this kind of situation.
Right.
Rosewood, of course, because they made a movie about it. But North Carolina is like one of other little cities that's not highlighted. So my question to you is, to continue on, are you going to plan like a little series of different Black city conclaves that had this kind of situation?
Oh, repeat that. I couldn't hear you. That last
I'm
part.
sorry. I'm saying, like I said, there's a lot of other cities, like Rosewood's highlighted, Black
Yeah.
Wall Street's highlighted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's a lot of other cities like North Carolina, which I found out about recently, that had these little takeover situations where the Black economy was booming.
Right,
and
right.
of course, the white man was like, no, no, no.
Right.
And so do you have a log of those different cities? I might be able to get it to you, but do you want to do a future documentaries on those other cities?
I thought about it, man. I thought about it, because they have them all. There's countless of them, man, all over the country. I know one of the films that inspired me to actually do Wilmington on Fire, because I'm in North Carolina, so I wanted to do something similar in my state. But it's a great documentary that people should watch. It's called Banished by Marco Williams. It came out like in 2006. When I saw that, I said, okay, this is possible. He did a joint similar to mine. And It was about 3 other racial massacres. It was like 2 in Georgia and 1 in like Arkansas or something. And so he showed that how it was just racial cleansing, man. Like today in these 3 towns, there's no Black people that live there, period. At least in Wilmington, they still got 20% of the population there. But in these other places, man, they did a straight up ethnic cleansing, where there's no Black population there left, period. So that's what kind of inspired me, man, to try to tell something about what happened in my state, of North Carolina.
That's it.
But we got a part 2 coming to Wilmington on Fire. So excuse me. So we got a part 2 going for that, and that's going to kind of take the lead of going what's next with the whole story. But I thought about doing some other films, man, about different, massacres like that. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'll help executive produce. Something, but I don't know, man. It's like it has to be really in my heart. Like the 1898 story really connected to me, because even in my hometown of Laurinburg, when we started researching and you look at the newspaper articles, it was I guess a white terror group that was similar to the Klan back then called the Red Shirts. And they were very similar to the Ku Klux Klan, but they just didn't wear any masks. They did all their stuff broad daylight with no mask or nothing. And a lot of them were from my hometown, of Laurinburg. They went to participate in Wilmington, because Wilmington and Laurinburg is like an hour and a half away. Right. And so this was like a statewide white supremacy movement. So I was like, you know what, this is for my state of North Carolina. I got to tell this story. But, if someone else is in South Carolina, I know South Carolina had quite a few massacres. I know even here in North Carolina, man, they had a thing with the Native American Lumbee Indians, man. They ran the Ku Klux Klan out of Wilmington. You know what I'm saying? Nice. So I thought about
AniYa is back, but I want to expound upon that. But AniYa, did you want to chime in, or can I continue the conversation we're having?
Go ahead. Well, real quick, we have more comments coming through. I'm excited. God works in mysterious ways, because notice, Dion, I plugged you in and then I disappeared. So go ahead, continue your conversation. Just don't forget about me, because I want to read these other great comments that are coming through. Keep it up, guys.
All right, but AniYa, can you also reply to those comments and put in links and stuff for the people?
So I'm going to try as much as possible, but I'm freezing up and I don't want to do too much tonight because my phone and everything is crazy. Like all my gadgets are weird. I don't know what's going on. It's the BX. We're uptown and out here the service is nutty. Whatever, Dion. So
don't blame the Bronx for your problems.
Christopher, if you can, when we're done, if you want to reply to some of these comments, because they're coming in like crazy.
Yeah,
because right now I'm just leaving everything at a standstill.
All right.
So that I don't mess anything up, because I'm like on eggshells. But go ahead, guys.
But now, if you want to do if Chris has time, a post wrap up when you answer the comments in a different Zoom live and then put it later, we could do that. All right, Chris. Okay. So as a film student, what I'm going to ask you is the following. For example, what was the initial, because I know documentary stuff, what was the initial concept? And then when you do documentaries with the research, sometimes your direction is tip could go left, whatever you want to do. What
Yeah.
the rabbit hole, as the white boys say. So, what was the initial concept? What your goal was? And what was the end post production?
Yeah, I said, man, the original concept, man, was honestly, I didn't even know what I was doing at first, man. Like I was like, because it was my first film. So what I did was, it was like, I thought I was gonna do just the regular standard Ken Burns style of documentary, like a plain, dry, start to finish, straight up
Right.
history thing, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that's really all I was really used to, you know what I'm saying? So once I started filming and started looking at other documentaries, getting some ideas, it kind of evolved. Like one of the first people I reached out to was Larry Rennie Thomas, who's in the film. He's kind of considered as Mr. 1898, in Wilmington. He's been on this subject, man, since the 70s about the 1898 massacre and stuff like that.
Wow.
So when I reached out to him, he kind of gave me some ideas, a lot of feedback. So we started just filming stuff, man. And I probably after like 3 days of shooting, I just kind of went in there and just saw what I had, you know what I'm saying, and started piecing some things together, piecing some scenes. And then that kind of just helped me evolve the outline, even more.
Right. So,
And,
what was your one night kind of treatment situation where you were like, all right, this is what I want to do. For example, I want to tell a story of this town, and that's it. Or I want to tell this story through the lens of the residents, or I want to tell
yeah.
a story of this town from like a holistic historical perspective, where interviews, photos, and that. So, what was the like two line that we were saying, all right, this is my
Yeah.
goal, but I ended up here showing this.
Yeah. I say, man, I guess my main goal when I started was just a straight basic history, lesson, you know what I'm saying? But it ended up being really from the actual descendants' perspective.
Okay, there you go.
Eventually.
Yeah.
It eventually ended up being from their perspective because, when you're interviewing people, man, some people give you a good interview, some people don't. Some people give you more than what you expect, and then it leads you down somewhere. So you got to research
Exactly,
that.
man. You
You know what I'm
gotta,
saying?
you the director, you gotta guide that,
Right,
and then probably
right.
bring it back to censor because those documentaries can go all over the place.
Right. You can edit a documentary 10 or 20 different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, because even if you watch mine, at the ending, it's a poem that we do to close out the film by Larry Thomas. Originally, in my outline, that was supposed to be the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to start off with a spoken word piece and then go into the film, but I decided to put that at the end. That was like the first thing we ever shot in like November
Right.
2011.
So I don't want to rehash anything, but like I said, from a film student perspective, when you first, what was the release date of this film?
We released it. Went on DVD or just started doing screenings, like at festivals.
Screenings. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, November. We premiered November 2015.
Okay, so from that point in time to now, what was your, I guess, outreach in the sense of either college tours for the Black folk, you know what I mean? Either the college tours or panel discussions here and there. What was that like? What events can stick out in your mind? We could say, all right, this is wild.
Man.
Or when
Oh yeah, I would say like the premiere definitely. I was telling Naya earlier, we premiered November 2015 at the Cucalores Film Festival. Cucalores is a real big festival here in North Carolina. It's big in Wilmington as well. So we made an effort to premiere in Wilmington since it's a Wilmington story. And so we wanted to do the biggest festival in Wilmington. So we did it. And we actually broke their attendance record. And then, so I said, hold on, man, I think I'm on to something here with this thing. This thing really has an audience. So what I did was I rented the same venue, which was 600 seats. And we rented it the next month and packed it out again. And then we did 2 more screenings in Wilmington, packed them both out. And then, so I just started going around the state since it's a North Carolina story. I said, let me go ahead and hit the base first, Wilmington, then throughout North Carolina. And everywhere we went, man, Charlotte, Durham, Raleigh, Asheville, you know what I'm saying, Winston-Salem, Goldsboro.
Greensboro.
Yeah, we went there too and packed it out as well. We packed it out there too, man. So all these places we went to, man, just 300, 500, 600 people coming, watching the film. And then so after we did all that, we still were submitting to film festivals as well. So, we got invited to the Pan-African Film Festival in LA, and I won an award for that as well for the film. And that was a big one because, Pan-African Film Festival was real big. I think Danny Glover was one of the founders of it. And they have like 200 to 300 films. You know what I'm saying? It's like 2 weeks of just nonstop films. So I was like, man, I know I'm not going to win nothing. I'm just happy to be here. But I end up, winning something in the documentary category. So that was huge. And it was fun, too, to be out to LA. That was my first time going to LA. And that's another thing, too, that the film has allowed me to go to places I never, thought about even going to, man. Just a lot of places I've seen, met a lot of interesting folks as well. But the film has screened all over the place, New York, Chicago, Detroit. So it's a combination of me doing my own screenings, colleges doing screenings, organizations doing screenings, you know what I'm saying, and festivals as well. And it's been going nonstop. Like since November 2015, we averaged like 2 to 4 screenings a month. And the only reason it stopped was because of COVID-19.
Wow, that's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Naya, back to you, unless you want me to continue the conversation. Uh-oh.
She froze up
Here we
again.
go
Man.
again.
Questions, because I know I don't know if we did talk about, is it better? Is that better?
Yes.
Good? No?
Yes.
Okay. So real quick, tell us about,
Oh, snap.
thank you.
Breaking up.
Thanks, Christopher, because I would love for people to hear about your other projects. How about now? Better?
Yeah,
What
you're
is
kind of going a
happening
little slow
tonight?
motion.
Is that better?
Right, but you want him to talk about his other projects, correct?
Yes, the ones that are
Okay.
coming up.
Okay.
Upcoming projects, dates, times, contact information, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I already talked about Wilmington on Fire. We got Wilmington on Fire 2. We putting out that trailer in a few weeks. Also, I got a martial arts documentary as well.
Ooh, about what?
Yeah, it's called Grandmaster. It's about Grandmaster Vic Moore. He was a martial arts fighter, karate fighter back in the 60s, 1960s.
Well, yeah, because I have a mutual acquaintance. He's a part of this black martial arts culture, right?
Yeah.
These are like martial artists that were in the military. When they was over in Asia, they did their thing. So I wanted to know if I get the information, maybe pass it on to them. Maybe I have something to add if you're working on that. I got that.
I'm down, man.
He knows all these cats. I was in a meeting with these guys, and it was like afros, and they had the young groups there, and they had a little exhibition, and kids got promoted. And I was like, well, this is nice. And then they were the historical perspective, and the racism, and
all that.
They talked about Bruce Leroy, and then I watched that movie the other day because that's like one of my best black historic films, right? I don't want to get off a side note, but Last Dragon is like one of the best films. And when I saw it again, it was made by Barry Gordy. It had a black-owned pizza restaurant concept, and then some other cultural issues with the hip hop and the music. It was all positive. You see what I'm saying? It was romance, action, adventure. You know what I mean? Thrill. It's like so many elements in that movie I could break down as a film student that gives black pride, and it's like great. Right. And Bruce Leroy is still in shape and going, because I'm a geek, so
he's still out there, man, doing his thing. Yeah. And that's I'm a martial arts guy too, man, just like yourself, man. Like I grew up, wanting to do those type of things. So when I got a chance to hop on this project, man, I ran with it. And I'll post the trailer as well. The trailer's been out there. We're almost done filming, but we had to stop production because of COVID-19. But we'll be done by the end of the year. But man, it's about Vic Moore. He was a martial arts pioneer in the 60s. And it's not just about him during that time period, but it's about him today. And he's working with these 2 young guys, man. He's working as one guy. We've been following pretty much all 3 of their stories. Like we've been following Grandmaster Moore, him going through his whole hip surgery situation, trying to get himself, healthy again. And he's still teaching karate. Also, this other young guy he's been teaching called named Wayne. He's a champion in his own right. We've been following him to like Miami and big tournaments. And this other guy, Stewart, who's mentally challenged, but he's been working with Grandmaster Moore for about 6 years. And we show how
an Asian kid in New York City has that.
Yeah, man, and Grandmaster Moore has really, man, changed this guy's life, man, through karate. So we've been following him at his job. Yeah.
I'm trying to see if we're talking about the same guy. Is this guy from New York that you're talking about or no?
Nah, this guy is originally from Cincinnati. He's been in North Carolina since like the 80s. He's in North Carolina. Because I remember the
guys in New York, they had, those boards you got to break?
Yeah.
They were so nice with it. Like you tossing the board in the air and it just, It was crazy. And one thing that I learned from that experience, I'm not sure if you want to insert or talk about, is that how money ruined the tournament culture, right? Because they talked about how tournaments like are really traditional and it's like pride and it's like when you win, it's like you get extra accolades and like high esteem and respect in different realms. But since they added money into it, all that's out the window.
That plus that too, plus also, man, when the whole, I guess the Bruce Lee effect, happened, where, you know, Bruce Lee kind of made, you know, martial arts big time and
Center stage.
mainstream, and it messed it up, you know, it messed up really the purity of the art form, because
Right, the Hollywood
that
comes
happened.
in.
Yeah, then that happened, man. Everybody started opening up karate schools, and people that opened them up really shouldn't have done that, because, you know, it takes a lot to get your degree in, you know, black belts and stuff like that, man, in this thing. And a lot of people just rushed out there that really weren't certified to really teach karate the right way and martial arts the right way. So it really watered it down, man, because I know even with Grandmaster Moore and other, you know, pure martial artists, they'll like do black belt training sessions, right? Say like I'm a black belt and I want to make sure I got the real deal stuff and I'm really certified. I would go to someone like Vic Moore or somebody else in Jersey or whatever that's one of those purist type of guys. And they can tell, man, like how you're breathing, how you doing your stances, how you punching and all that, that you shouldn't be a black belt. But it's not your fault. It's whoever taught you and whoever taught them as well. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that kind of got lost, man, like you said, with the money and the Hollywood influence as well down the road.
Right, but one of the things I liked about it that was kind of old school and the tradition that you see on TV or the consistency, it's like you gotta know yourself, but not in the sense of your martial art form. You gotta do a lot of name dropping. Oh, you know, this person, that person, I train with that person. Okay, now you somebody. Because if you're just like, I went to this academy or this dojo, yeah, but if you know so-and-so grandmaster here, there, your master knows that master, that's enough.
Right. And I know with Grandmaster Moore, you know, what kind of makes him cool, man, is that he learned and studied under Robert Trias. And Robert Trias is pretty much considered the father of American martial arts, American karate. He pretty much opened the first karate school in the United States in Arizona. And so Grandmaster Moore went to study with him in the early 60s and eventually became one of his chief instructors, you know, for his organization, and then broke off and did his own thing like in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made Grandmaster Moore cool, man. But the project is dope. It's very different from Wilmington on Fire. You know, I wanted to do something different, you know, something a little bit more uplifting.
Diversify.
Yeah. So it's been a fun project, man. It's actually made me want to kind of get back into it a little bit. So he's been training me up a little bit. Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been a fun experience.
Good, man. And
put that brownie down, Dion. Put the brownie down. Get back in shape with Christopher and myself. Okay, good. Just checking. Listen, I'm back. I don't know how long I'm gonna be back for with this connection. I am so proud of you, Christopher. We still have more comments coming in, which is so amazing because a lot of the people that follow us are definitely creatives. And I just had another quick commentary that came through. In the interim, you did share a little bit about, you know, your motivation and how, you know, you rebranded yourself. What would you like to say to those people that are, I guess, too shy, right? Because we talked about motivation and how not to give up and even with what's going on. But how about those that are actually too shy for this, but they're still geniuses behind this craft? What would you like to say to those introverts? Because I could say shy all day, but they're really introverted.
Oh, well, I could tell you.
So, because you almost, to me, seem introverted.
I'm a shy guy. I'm telling you, like my first film project, with Wilmington on Fire, my first screening was in front of like 600 people. You know what I'm saying? When we did that Cucalores Day, that was my first time ever in that type of setting. Had to talk in front of a whole bunch of people. Was that? So if I can do it, you know, anybody can do it. And you get comfortable with it. The more you do it, the easier it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So after that, experience, you know, after a while, you keep doing these things. And you get comfortable with it. So you just got to go out there and do it. You know, you just got to face your fears. That's what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect to have 600 people on my first screening, but you know, it happened.
And now you also got to take into consideration film, like any sport, is a team effort. Everybody's in role play in the film. So I'm not sure, Mr. Chris, if you talked about your team. Did you get a chance to talk about your team behind the scenes or no?
Oh, yeah, man. Now, we haven't talked yet, but I can definitely talk about it.
Excellent. Can you hear me okay? Or am I out again?
Yeah, out again.
And
after this, I'll hop off. That way you have some more stuff, okay? But in the meantime, he's going to talk about his team, okay?
But real quick, before I hop off again, we have another question. Can you hear
you keep
me okay? Can you guys hear me? Okay, so real quick, for prospective filmmakers and for those not in the film industry who may not know, what should every trailer you believe should entail to properly demonstrate and tease what the film will be about? So for the trailers, what should be in a trailer basically that you've noticed and you've gotten success for putting in your trailer? I guess is another way of asking.
Well, it depends on what type of trailer you're doing. Like with a teaser, that's what it is a tease. Like we're about to put out the part 2 Wilmington on Fire teaser, and it's just to give you a snippet, I guess a little to tease you to what's to come. You don't want to give too much, but you do want to give something so people know, what the hell's going on. So you don't want to give too much. How some trailers give too much of the movie away. You don't want to do that. So you want to give them just enough to entice them, to make them want to pay that $10 or that $5, ticket, you know what I'm saying, or to share it, you know what I'm saying, or just want to know more about it. So you don't want to give too much away, but you do want to give something and really entice them. And it's also what I do all the time. I always look at trailers. I look at teasers. I look at other trailers as well. You got to keep looking at trailers and seeing the different ways that people are actually telling, these stories in a short form. Excellent.
2 more questions. Well, one is for me for sure. Who is your biggest role model and who would you like to work with in this industry? I guess that's a 2-parter. Role model and who would you like to work with? And Pamela Clark from Cheektowaga, Buffalo, New York says, have you ever seen the movie Black Dynamite? So you kind of have 3
I've seen
questions.
Black Dynamite, yeah. I've seen
Okay, he knows Black Dynamite. Excellent. All right, so go ahead. Who is your biggest role model, influence, and who would you really like to work with? Share with the world now.
Well, I would say my biggest influence, I would say it's 2 people. And they were actually producers on my film. One is Pete Chapman. He's a director. He directs a lot of TV shows and stuff like that.
Excellent.
Grey's Anatomy. So he's a mentor of mine. I learned a lot from him. Also, Tariq Nasheed that did Hidden Colors.
Excellent.
Yeah, he actually was a producer on the film as well. He was, I was able to tap into his audience, the Hidden Colors audience. So both of those guys, man, really were a huge, influence on me.
That is powerful.
Yeah, so I guess the person I would like to work with one day, I don't know, I guess Spike Lee or somebody like that. Yeah, Spike, he'd be cool. I heard, he's an a-hole, but.
Yes, he is.
He's a tough cookie. I've met him. First of all, he's 4 feet tall. So if you think about, whatever Napoleon Dynamite.
I met him once where I was doing this project with a friend. This is like before I even started Wilmington on Fire. And
I love it.
I was late to 40 Acres of the Mule, the office. And so me and my friend showed up and we were like 30 minutes late. And I was like, I messed up. And so he comes out and he looks at me, he says, "Thank you for shit," and walks away. And leaves. I was like, oh man.
But that's him. I met him. He was on my block. If there's my other friend Christopher here, he'll let you know. He actually played in that last movie, the remake of whatever the hell. Anyway.
The Sweet Blood of Jesus?
No, the one where it's like a with the I can't remember. My brain is fried. He's done so many great things.
Oh, She's Gotta Have It.
She's Gotta Have It. My friend Christopher is actually the young man in the wheelchair with the hand that's all. So Christopher, was in the neighborhood because we were like neighbors in Park Slope. And I just had seen the movie. We did a whole big launching for Christopher at the restaurant that we all used to hang out at, the restaurant, bar, whatever. And then he was like, "AniYa, Spike Lee's around the corner." And I was like, oh my God. But I was on my way to do laundry. So I looked like the bag lady, you know what I mean? Because I did not expect Spike Lee to be shooting a film on my block. But I was like, I gotta get my pick. I gotta get my moment with Spike. I have my whole producer background information. I'm handing him a card and all of that. Spike just was eating his peanuts, like the ones that you have to crack open and stuff, popping them in, just staring at me. And I'm about to have a heart attack because it's Spike. And he's just like, I'm never like star crazy. Like I, am real calm, collected or what have you. But he is Spike Lee. But what I didn't know was that he was also 4 feet tall. So I kind of was like, where's the rest of Spike? Right. Anyway, that's my funny stuff. But he just looked at me like I wasn't anything. Like, why are you wasting my time? Somebody take this package. Yeah, I'm on your block, but it doesn't matter. Like, get out of my face. Let me eat my peanuts. And that was it. Anyway, so that was my little story with Spike. So that's funny. Go ahead, Dion.
All right. Well, my question to you is this. Well, the first question was about your team.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about your team a little bit, and then I have a very deeper question for you. Now she talked about Spike Lee. I have a very deep question for you, but go over the team first, okay?
Oh yeah, man, my team, man. Like I wouldn't have been able to do Wilmington on Fire, the first one, without him. One guy, man, and the thing about makes my team real special, man, is that pretty much all of them have gone on to have huge careers
That's
in
good. You
Hollywood.
don't try to pigeonhole people. You let them grow. That's good.
Yeah. Like my man, my cinematographer, Isaiah Dante Lee, for example, in the first one, man, I was able to connect with him right out of high school. I just knew off his reel that he was that guy. He was going to be that guy one day, and I was able to work with him, man. He does like music videos for J. Cole. He's the DP for the TV show Boomerang. He does a lot of big Nike commercials, everything, man. So him, my boy Matthew Head, who I still do work with now, he's one of my main go-to composers. But he does scoring for the Oprah show Greenleaf. He does the Boomerang TV show. He did the score for this new Stars series called P-Valley that's coming out this summer. But he's like my go-to guy still. You know, we kind of came in the game together. So he always looks out for me, man. So him, my man Chris Salvador, he's a young Hispanic brother that I connected with. He does all my motion graphic title stuff. So he does a lot of big titles for major movies and stuff, like the opening title sequence stuff. He does a lot of them for like Hollywood stuff. So he still does stuff with us. So, man, we were just blessed, man, to be able to connect with cats early. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you got to kind of know how to pick the talent as well and know how to, you know, spot it. So I was just fortunate enough, man, to know what I was looking for.
Okay, before I get to my deep question, I'm talking about myself. When I see myself, because you're dropping things like reels and all this other stuff, I was like, wow, it's been a long time. All right, my deep question is not yet. I got another question for you. When did you get started in the film game? Because the reason I'm not doing it now is because I started out in 1999 when I went to the City College of New York, which is like the first film school in America.
Right.
And I dealt with the reels, cutting room floor, like cutting and all kinds of stuff, and Final Cut Pro, and then Avid and rest of the garbage. But then the problem was we as colored people, we couldn't break into anything with our craft, right? Because either you were John Singleton or Spike Lee, or that's it.
That was it.
So I want to know, when did you break in, meaning like start your craft, and then would you break through to get a level you're at now? Do you know what I mean? Like when you say, all right, I got my skill set, let me try this one thing out, and now I got to learn how to be distribution and do my own marketing. It's not a multifaceted game. If you don't have a good team, you're going to try to be one-man show, and that's not going to work. So that's my question. When did you start out, break through, harness the craft, and then when you actually break through to get on this level, that little journey if you can?
Well, he actually answered a whole lot of that before, but I know he's going to do it because he's a sweetheart. But Dion, he already got you on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, you know, I kind of started in the film game, man. It wasn't even behind the camera, man. I was a model and actor first. You know, I was about 100 pounds lighter, you know, back then, man. This was about 2004 to about 2009. You know what I'm saying? I'm 37. You know what I'm saying? So
38.
Yeah, okay, oh yeah. All right, cool. Oh,
22 again. I'm 22 again.
But yeah, so it was like 2004 to like 2009, man, of doing little commercials here and there, you know, little short films, indie films. Had a few major auditions. They didn't work. So I decided to move to Atlanta. And stuff didn't work out down there. So I said, you know what? I want to try to start making some films, you know what I'm saying, and try to start creating some projects. Maybe I can just star in them, you know what I mean, since these auditions aren't working out. And so that's what kind of led me to say, you know what, let me just start making some stuff and I can kind of control it myself, control my own destiny somewhat. And so I said, you know what, let me start off with a documentary. It might be easier to do that starting off. And I decided to do something on the Wilmington Massacre. And that film right there, that was actually my first film. And that pretty much opened the door for me that led to everything else. Because with that film, go ahead.
Okay, good. That's all I cut you off. Here's my deep question for you. The problem I have with Spike Lee is this, because it's about mindset across the board what we do. And the thing is, he's about this Black empowerment, and we should have our own. But the thing is, he's always trying to rush and break through to get an Academy Award and accolades from white folks. And I have a problem with that kind of concept.
I agree.
Samuel Jackson. So my thing is this, with your mindset, my brother, and Black ownership and stuff like that, because that's what you're talking about here. If you're about that life, is that this. How do you stay to your center and make sure your craft goes directly to your people from you instead of like seeing the limelight, like she says, all right, let me go to Clay Moore's white people and try to get on this stage and try to get accolades and feel good and get their approval. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's what people don't do. Go ahead.
Yeah. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And that's been my biggest problem with Spike as well, and other people like that. And I decided I didn't care about that because, like I said, I'm here in North Carolina, man, and the internet has really opened it up where if you can build an audience, man, you can really be successful at this. And that's what I've done. And also what I've set out to do with this too is to help other filmmakers. Like I also executive produce, like we got one joint out right now. I executive produce called Black Beach, White Beach. It's on Amazon Prime right now. People can watch it. We executive produced that. They got a distribution deal. I just finished up my homegirl's joint, The Black Baptism. It's a sci-fi short that's been in a couple festivals. And then we had a couple more coming up, but COVID-19 happened. So, I'm always trying to, executive produce and mentor other, filmmakers as well, especially our people, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody gave me a shot. Pete Chapman, he took the time to mentor me. So I try to do the same. And then I tell those folks to do the same, you know what I'm saying? Help somebody, that has the talent. They just need a little guidance and direction. You can't help everybody, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
Figure out the ones who really do want to work and have the talent. And that's what I look out for. And everyone who I've helped, man, they go around and do their thing. Like I said, my man, Ricky Kelly, he got his thing. He got the deal. Black Beach, White Beach is out there now. It's about the 2 bike weeks that go on in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Harley week and then the Black Bike one. So that's on Amazon now. So doing things like that, man, helping produce other people's projects and helping their dreams come true. And that's why I pretty much stay busy all the time because I work on my stuff. Then I'm helping 2 or 3 other people out at the same time.
That's the way to do
that's
it.
What we do.
Paying it forward.
You have another question? I know.
I do. So real quick, they actually wanted to know in the commentaries whether or not your stuff is on Netflix, and you just said something about Netflix or Amazon or both. So please let the people know at this time where they can actually find your stuff, and if you have a website and things of that nature. And I can actually try to put that in before I freeze up.
Well, you can go. Like I said, my man's joint that I executive produced, Black Beach, White Beach. It's on Amazon Prime right now. Check it out this weekend. Also, they want to see Wilmington on Fire. Just go to WilmingtonOnFire.com. WilmingtonOnFire.com. It's currently on Vimeo for streaming, DVDs for sale as well. We're going to be on Quelle TV starting next week. And also, we'll be on Amazon by the end of May as well. But they can just go to WilmingtonOnFire.com and get all of that. And also Black Beach, White Beach, Amazon Prime.
White Beach, Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do Netflix like that, man. A lot of these streaming services be on some BS. Like Amazon streaming, right? Amazon streaming.
Talk to us about some of that.
See, a lot of people don't know. The consumer really doesn't know.
Yeah, the new stream game.
Oh man, it sucks. It's similar to what musicians went through when the stream game happened with them. Like with Amazon, for example, you getting like a penny per hour stream.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you can have like 800 streams, man, and you got like $8. So Netflix will give you, if it's not a Netflix original, if you just bring a regular film, put on Netflix, they might give you 10 to 20 grand for like 3 or 4 years. So say if you get 20 grand for 4 years, they just gonna give you 5 grand a year over that 4 years. That's it.
What about the Black-owned stream service? Like I know the first person that pops to my mind, because this guy has the mindset across the board, but he's very hood, is Damon Dash. Have you looked at
you talking about the Dame Dash Studios?
Right.
I'm familiar with it. I tried it out when he first started it. It was cool, but everyone's different, man. Like, I'm thinking about tapping into it. Like I said, I subscribed to it when he first launched it. Show support. So I tried it out for a few months just to show my support to him and check out like Lusadas and a few other joints he had on there. But it depends, man. Like I got a nice little audience base. With what we're doing right now. So every project is different. Wilmington on Fire kind of has its own thing going. But with the next projects, I might do something different. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about exploring, different things. You got Tubi TV out there that I heard is pretty good. So the streaming game, it changes all the time. You just got to try to figure out, how to navigate it.
Okay, cool.
I love it. So at this point, we've kept you for quite some time, obviously. Just reiterate some of the things that people should know. There's a lot of people that are, how about now? Better?
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, I guess, Christopher, people are still joining. And for those that definitely need the motivation, I know we've talked about that a few times, but you're so inspirational and you're doing so many great things. I put the link up on the comments. Thank God. Right. I was able to do that. But if you want to just go ahead and share last thoughts, any quotes, any passionate motivational pieces you came across to give the people the inspiration that they may be longing for, as you have inspired myself and many others, that would be super great. And here's the real last part of that too. In regards to COVID, what is your next steps after COVID? So a little bit of motivation, where people can get in contact with you at next steps after COVID.
Okay, well, I guess the motivation is you just got to go out there and do it. So you can't be scared. You're going to make mistakes. Hell, with Wilmington on Fire, I can't even watch it in front of people because I know the mistakes I made throughout.
You know what I'm saying? You're an artist, man. I know that too.
I cannot
the
watch
sound
it. I
here,
still
the light
haven't.
there.
It's been 4
I don't
years.
watch myself on TV.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
on
been
national
4
TV
years.
and I can't watch.
It's been 4 years, man, of nonstop screenings. I still can't sit in there with the people. We have 1,000 people in there, everybody loving it. I still can't. I don't believe them.
Because you're critiquing yourself. You're critiquing yourself.
Because I see the
time.
mistakes. Yeah, I see the mistakes, but that's the thing. That's the part of growing. And when I send you guys the trailers of my new stuff, and you'll see the progression, and how I've gotten better. And that's what you want to do. You got to start somewhere, and you can't be afraid of messing up. You're going to mess up. Even the greats mess up constantly. But it's about how you learn from those mistakes. And so if you're going to have to try and mess up sometimes, man. It's a part of life. So the main thing is learning from those mistakes. I think that's the biggest key, is just go out there and do it. And it can just be something short. Like I just said, we just did a small little sci-fi short film, shot it and edited it for about $3,000. It's dope. It's been a couple festivals so far. And that was her first project as well. We made some mistakes, but overall she got the work out there and she's learning. You know what I'm saying? So I say just go out there and try and put your best foot forward and learn from your mistakes.
Okay.
And the
Contact
second question was what? Oh yeah, contact.
And then also the COVID, post-COVID. Yeah. So contact info.
Oh, well, people can hit me up on social media, on Speller Street Films, on Facebook, Speller Street Films on Instagram, Speller Street on Twitter, WilmingtonOnFire.com, WilmingtonOnFire.com for all things related to that. Yeah. If people want to email me, filmmakers out there want some advice, hit me up on Facebook or email me at spellerstreetfilms@gmail.com, spellerstreetfilms@gmail.com. I chat with filmmakers all the time, especially filmmakers of color, Black folks, because, I always try to, give them some type of pointers or something, you know what I'm saying, if I can help at all.
Yeah, I get so excited. I get so excited about when people say these things, because honestly, our own people sometimes could forget as soon as they make it through that door or over that hump or whatever, or reach that ceiling, that level. It's like, screw the rest of the Black community. I know we have to tread lightly, but come on. But post-COVID, tell us some of the things that you're going to be able to do again, or you want to accomplish post-COVID.
Well, I want to finish up Wilmington on Fire 2 and Grandmaster. Those are the first two things. But we also have a couple of narrative projects as well in the works. We have one, a film called I Don't Live Today. It's in development right now. We have some investors lined up, but we're going to start talking to them some more after this COVID-19 stuff is over with. But it's cool because we have Orlando Jones. He's signed on to do the voiceover work for us. Orlando Jones, who was in the Star Show, the American Gods joint. Yeah, so he's
so
down
amazing.
to do that.
That's a powerful brother.
Yeah, so we got that. We got another joint I'm helping out produce called Harlem's Last Poet. It's about one of the founders of the Last Poets, Abiodun Oyewole. So that's almost done. We were actually going to do a Kickstarter for that like last month, but COVID-19 happened. So we'll probably do that again once COVID-19, is over with. So it's just a whole bunch of projects that we got going on. A lot of things that we're filming, a lot of things in development, and a lot of things that are kind of like in the distribution phase of film festivals and stuff like that. So we got probably about a total of like 8 different projects going on in different, things, whether it's production, festival circuit, distribution, and development. So
does that mean we're going to see you in New York soon, since you have a Harlem project?
Yeah, I got like 3 joints in New York. We got
Go,
Harlem's
go.
Last Poet, I Don't Live Today, and this other joint called The Saintly Madness. You know, we filmed. I was in New York in February. We filmed like a couple of sample scenes to package to investors. So I got a lot of stuff in New York. I'm gonna be in New York a lot.
Hello, you have an actress right here. You have a sister that can help push stuff to, listen,
We'll
right
talk.
here.
We'll talk.
Let's make it happen. Oh, you already know, Dion. I'm gonna sell myself. I'm gonna send you that resume ASAP. I'm gonna be in a Okay, so sorry, go ahead. Get super hyped up. Go ahead, Dion. Last questions, last comments.
All right, this is the last question for you, brother, because I'm big on, when film school, the concept I learned on the doctorate side was called scholar practitioner, right? It means you teach, but you also have to practice your craft. All art or film teachers, they have to be in the business some aspect and teach at the same time. So what is your end game? You want to do something like that when, let's say 20, 30 years down the line for Chris? Or do you want to go to the Tyler Perry realm and work your way up to more and more ownership in the realm of cinema? You see what I'm saying? What is your end game here for yourself personally?
My end game, man, what I've always wanted to do, man, I've always wanted to build my company up to be like another Warner Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Or Walt Disney. It's like no one knows who owns Warner Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like the person who owns it getting all this money, but no one knows who. That's how I want to be. I don't even want people to see me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be.
It's better to be, how can I say this? It's better to be wealthy and unowned instead of famous and broke. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I've always wanted to do. And that's why, I came in the game like that. I have to do a lot of the stuff now because, I have to do it. So, but eventually, I won't be, doing a lot of interviews and the other directors, because that's what I'm pretty much going to do, man, after Wilmington on Fire 2 and
I just want to get producer credit, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're just
I own the company, and I own, I own the company. They'll still come for Spell Street Film. I own the product. I'll just be hiring the director to work for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's eventually, after I do these 2 documentaries, I'm be transitioning a little bit more into that. You know what I'm saying? But that's my overall goal, is to build something.
I'm going to, and now if I can, I'm going to pitch you a multi-million-dollar idea. All right? Okay. If I had the tools, I talked to another film podcast about, because I'm not in the game, but I know how to pitch a good idea. You need, if you're into documentary, you need a documentary, because I'm like comedy stuff, a documentary about male sexual assault victims, meaning that the white teacher has sex with a black 16-year-old, 14-year-old boy. But you're going to do it in a comedic style, but you're going to piggyback off the Me Too movement from a man's perspective of, inequality. The word is like, basically it's not equal when it comes to
inequality.
Inequalities. Thank you. My vocabulary is extended, by the way. So that's my brother. I want to pitch to you. I would love to work on that with you, but put that in the back of your mind, because that could be very lucrative.
We can talk more about it. Yeah, we can talk more about it. Definitely.
Yeah. So with that being said, we know we've taken up a lot of your time. The comments are still flooding.
What's the comments?
I guess Anthony Revicchio. I'm sorry?
I said, what are the comments?
Okay, good. We can talk about him. First of all, Anthony Revicchio, which is Dion's best friend, is fainting again. He faints about everything. I love this guy. Then he came in late as well, but he's now asking about tag teaming with other film festivals. Are you looking to tag team with other film festivals? I'm thinking yes, because you already talked about that a little bit, but I'll let you definitely, right?
Yeah, hit me up. If y'all got a film festival that, you want some of the work we got, just hit me up. Let me know.
Okay.
Let me know about them.
And matter of fact, I have another one for you. So Adrian is the next one, and then wait a second. Anthony also says, example, International Festival yearly at Lehman College. I didn't know about that.
Lehman College. I can speak to that because the City College is the film school, first public university, and it's spawned off from Lehman College, aka CUNY Uptown. And Lehman College has an excellent film program, and he also hosts BronxNet, which is our public access network.
Yes.
So when Anthony Revicchio's talking about that, he's talking about you coming back and dealing with the college itself and our public access system, which trains hands-on the craft, so people could be on public access with the camera work and blah, blah.
Oh, excellent. I've been interviewed at BronxNet a lot of times, and actually my last interview was with Tyrone Lowe, and he's actually, I think, watching tonight. He's somebody I want to interview as well. So we'll get you information on that for sure. Anthony,
I just want to add that Professor Anthony Revicchio has vested interest because he teaches at Lehman College. He just gave me an adjunct job. Nice try.
Okay, excellent.
He's also a tax man.
Shameless plug. So Adrian wants to know next, when is he coming to New York? You have 3 projects or so you're going to be working on. So she wants to know
we'll
when
be filming. Yeah, we'll be, we're not doing those screenings, but we'll actually be filming a lot of stuff in New York, like Harlem's Last Poet and these other projects. So I'll be in New York probably later on this year.
Excellent. Well, we're definitely linking up for sure. I had no idea you were here in February, but that's okay. I don't hold it against you, friend. Okay. And then we have also, matter of fact, I think I was in Florida probably when you were in town. So another reason why.
And then, you know, I was in New York before that. At a screening, because we also distribute a few other films. Like there's one film we got as an act of protest. We did a screening at the People's Forum in Manhattan.
Yeah, I know that place.
November. Yeah, it was like
in
last
November.
November. Yeah.
You got to let us know, because at the end of the day, we support and we do share. And it's very
We're about that life.
Listen, look, I know. And you know where he got his start from. He got his start from Oprah. So we already know we got to support each other, because Oprah likes to give these guys the big hand and sometimes not us, but whatever.
Did you ask Adrian's question or no?
Well, I just asked it about New York, and he just answered. You're not doing a film screening the next time you come, but you're going to be doing these projects, correct?
Yeah.
And
you never know. That changes, you know, as well. So I know before COVID-19 happened, I was actually about to set up a screening in New York. So we might do that again. I don't know yet.
Okay, well, because the reason I think she's asking, okay, shameless plug moment, I love it. She does have submissions are open for October Festival. So she has a festival. Okay. She's the one that was mentioning it earlier. And Pamela Clark says that they have a lot of films. A lot of films are, I guess, being taken out in Buffalo, I guess. We do a lot of films out here in Buffalo, she's saying. So, if that's an option of, getting out there, doing some nice work. What's funny to me is I just, William Anthony Allen of the National Action Network, he's also the head of the Uptown Democrats Club. He just sent me an article. Hello, Uptown Democrats Club in the house. He just sent me an article earlier about his residency, that apparently a lot of movies are filmed out of there. And it's very interesting because it's super beautiful. I've actually seen it in a few movies, but it's in Harlem. It's like a historical place. I'll send you some of that stuff too, because you just never know with some of the stuff you're doing. There's possible links in so many different arenas. And then of course, with the activism and, advocacy work you're doing as well, we're very much involved in social groups as well as activist groups. I'm a lifetime member of the National Action Network, for example. That's where I met Dion in the Bronx chapter years ago. And the BX. And I do a lot of work throughout our communities to educate our people. And I say that to say, as we're waiting for any more possible comments to come through, fam, we have a few more minutes with this great man here. Listen, I do a lot of work in this arena to share. And one of the things that I said to the young people the last time I had a speaking engagement at the National Action Network with the Youth Huddle, which is the young people portion, is this. And maybe you could speak a little bit more about this. In television production, we need more Black people, from engineers to technicians to camera pushers to producers to, screenwriters.
Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna say the one word that I know will resonate in your brain: union. Now that's where. Thank you.
Thank you. Say it. Okay, so talk about that a little bit if you can.
Those last letters behind your name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. So talking to us about that, do you agree that we need a lot more of our Black people? Because I'll tell you this. Let me just share why I brought that up, because I know I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but it seems like you're cool. You're cool, right? Excellent. So the reason I share that, and I openly talk about this almost at every platform that I get a chance to speak about this on, is I'm in the production field. I'm not in the, behind the scenes like I used to be, but more so on camera. And one of the things that's my biggest pet peeves, even in New York, such a multi-diverse community like New York, you go on a movie set, you go on a TV set or whatever, and the entire crew is white.
Yeah.
From the camera operators to, I learned a new terminology the other night on some music video for Her. I don't know if you know the artist Her. Yeah. We did a music video for Her right in Harlem, right? Mm-hmm. Right off of like 121st or what have you, in the middle of the hood, but everybody that works on these sets are white. And it drives me bananas because, it's like, even if it's a Black production, and I want to say this too, I understand it though. It's very tenuous work. It's very stressful work. When you are doing this production work, you wake up at very strange hours. You go to sleep at very strange hours. You have to be super committed and super on top of your game. like, can we talk about that a little bit, about how there is a lack of Black people, but also the work that entails, because it's very hard work, and our Black people need to understand that in order for them to go through the process and stay there.
Yeah.
Chris,
Well,
I'm going to add to that.
Go ahead.
Now, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I want to add to, but I want to start here. Just like politics, you could look at a picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce. That picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce, but the entire staff is white. TMZ.
Totally.
Okay. The thing about like that in politics, a lot of white people behind the scenes controlling things because Black people, it's a twofold. They're not given the opportunity. Then it comes to the mindset, and there's a whole lifestyle that has to be supported by that mindset. For example, these white people can have roommates out their ass. These white people can see the culture and live out there and be broke, but still have the financial wealth behind them to sustain on peanut butter sandwiches the whole time. But if you don't give a Black person to be not in a toxic environment like the hood, but be in an environment around his peers, have the opportunities, a mindset, and then be able to break through with racism in the back of their mind. Not that it doesn't, but in the back of the mind, and just have access. Now knows my key word is access. Once you have that, once the unions bring you
Ownership.
in, you got your own ownership. You see, you got ownership, access to capital, and access to leadership. I'm very big on those 3 access points, but that's what I see. It's a lifestyle, it's a mindset, and a sustaining lifestyle, opportunities to access. That's what I believe, because if you have more people, like in City College, once you get your degree, 70% of people don't use the degree for what it's for because they don't have access after they graduate college and the lifestyle. So it's like, now I got to become a case manager, but I have a bachelor's degree. But my brother, you take it away because you're more in tune, but that's what I see just like in politics.
Yeah.
But wait, real quick, sorry, I wanted to piggyback off of that. I'm sorry, Chris, because he said the 2 names in this game that really just reminded me of a conversation on the set of Her. I got to meet the people behind the scenes, like the owner of the company, who actually happened to be, oh my God, Sanaa Lathan's family. They own this Black owned and operated entire production thing. And it was mind blowing because even though most of the team was white, it was a Black owned and operated production, staff. And there was quite a few Black people that did work with them, right? But anyway, what somebody shared with me, I'm not saying any names, but they told me how heartbreaking, because I bring my activism everywhere I freaking go. And we had this conversation, and I told them how proud I was to see so many Black people a part of a set, and everything flowed so well. There was no hiccups, no fighting, etc. It wasn't ghetto or nothing. And he told me, this person said to me, AniYa, it's because I really value my work and I train my team, etc. But he says, you know what bothers me, AniYa? That this production costs X amount of money. We're not going to say how much, but it was a very large amount to produce this video. And he said, but do you know that Beyonce and Jay-Z got a $4 million budget for their last major production, which was, I think, Lion King, and there was not one Black person behind the scenes on that one? $4 million budget for a music video, The Lion King. Now, you guys can look this up. Don't quote me, but this is what I was told. And it was from a big person. It wasn't from, a boy selling donuts on the street. So, this was something, but it was huge. $4 million. We'll look into that. But go ahead, Christopher.
But yeah, I totally agree with you guys.
Chris, at the end, I'm gonna give you a solution for that. But go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, Chris.
I totally agree with you guys. And I know you said something earlier about unions. That's something we got to do. Yeah. We definitely got to do something, man, because this is ridiculous. Because even how you guys talking about New York, it's the same way down here. It's just like that in Atlanta, here in North Carolina as well. In Atlanta, it's supposed to be, a Black city as well, and all these productions and going on in Georgia, but it's the same type of thing. And that's really one of the reasons why I started to do my own thing as well, because I knew how hard it was going to be to get into the industry that way. So I said, man, forget this. I'm just going to just start my own thing, build my own.
Thank you. Start your own. Yes.
And then, do what I didn't want done to me, like give other people opportunities. I'm saying? The opportunities that I didn't get, I'm saying? I'll try to give them some opportunities. So I think that's what we have to do. Like you were talking about with Jay-Z and Beyonce, they need to do that. But if they don't, hell, I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to continue to do that.
Worry about yourself. Exactly. And keep it moving. That's my game plan. Here's the solution I'm going to toss at you. If you want to be successful, I can't say that to Black people, you got to follow the same white man script they do.
Yes.
Okay? You have an assistant to whoever's white or whatever it is that's doing a job. And once again, they're training their own replacement, and you slowly phase them out. You be like, I don't know what happened. You see what I'm saying? It's the same script.
Right.
Write
It
that
is.
hand up. You the cinematographer. Oh, this is my kid. He's the assistant. He's going to shadow you. You see what I'm saying? You said it yourself. You know what I mean? You get your people in as best you can. You get that foundation, but also you give them the one-on-one, pull them aside training that they need,
Yeah.
wink, wink, and also try to give them the lifestyle. Okay, you're here on my set, but I see you live in the hood. Let's talk about some opportunities for you get an apartment in this area or room here, roommate the crew right here for a second, and then from there phase them in because you gotta get that mindset mode going and say, listen, you have an opportunity here. I know you love the hood, the streets, and you love your production. Like my cousin's from the hood. But he was skilled at the dollies, like the train track stuff. They was always tapping to him to give him a few bucks. I'm like, no, my brother, I'm a degree. You getting that union, man. If they don't do it, give it to you, and you're like the best in New York City for this, don't do it. All right. So that's what I'm saying. You know, you gotta create your own gated community, have the whole lifestyle. You guys gotta have lunch together, breakfast together, just talk the business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
become the lifestyle. The roommate situation, like I said, with the artist form that the other people do, is very key and keep that money circulating. And like I said, get the experts there, have them shadow, and just phase them out. And that's it. But the number one thing across the board for our people is that mindset, is that lifestyle, is that support system. Passing around that hat for the money. If anybody falls down, got them, hand up, and the finances. That's it.
Right. I agree. Totally agree.
All right. Seems as though AniYa has been phased out, so I'm not sure if she gives me authority to end the show. But what is your definition with you? Because this is a key word. I'm gonna try to text her when you expand upon this. For you, your brand, and in terms of generational wealth, right? With your brand, whatever it is. I'll give you an example. For example, me, I'm big on owning a black-owned business, but forcing your son to work there, your daughter to work there.
Yeah.
Generational wealth. They may hate it, like these other cultures, but you have to force them in that leadership role so long-term they're good. All right? So what is your definition of generational wealth for yourself? How you want to lead by example or something along those lines, okay?
Yeah, well, I say, generational wealth for me, man, is very similar. I don't have any kids yet, but eventually I do want to have some kids, and I want them to have something, man, that I can pass down. So, like, I would love for them to work for me and see how the business is if I get to that bigger level that I want to. But even if I say, you know what, this ain't for me, I want to start another business. That means I have the money to help them, so that I can invest in them. Because I've seen white cats, man, like their dads own like tech companies, and they say, Dad, I want to start this different tech company. And their dad will be an actual investor in it, and they'll get the money back and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy that did Facebook, his dad invested in Facebook, man, and had shares in it. So I want to be able to do stuff like that, just in case my kids don't want to be in the film industry, but they want to do some type of thing. I want to be able to so they can have that capital to tap into, man. So that's what
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said before, generational wealth. It doesn't have to be that. You don't have to drop any kids, but for example, you could start up not a scholarship. I'm not big on scholarship. I want to change the whole paradigm where it's a mentorship scholarship where you guide them with their damn money and stuff like that. For example, there's white people kids in like 4th, 5th grade directing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the kind of mentorship I'm talking about. Yeah. And like I said, one of the things I learned, because you don't know what you don't know and how easy it is, especially in politics where there's so much information, you hide things in plain sight. For example, I just learned like 2 years ago that kids can invest in the stock market as young as 5 years old. Right. So you could start a whole curriculum, with your control of your own money, your scholarship distribution, sit on the board and flip the script and change the whole game, take your money back, like did Bill Cosby. But that's not tool of generation wealth, I say, in the mentorship. Like, all right, this kid has a skill set and the interest to do this, not force. Let me tap into this 12-year-old, 18-year-old, and guide them through the process and let them direct a little short, blah, blah. Make a little side money, show them how to be entrepreneurship, like selling candy. Well, this is how you market your little film or your little YouTube.
Right.
Little YouTubers program. There you go.
And I know, and other things I've been thinking about doing as well, man, is starting like this one thing me and a few colleagues talked about getting some money together and start creating this thing called like the Radical Film Fund. And it's kind of like, it'll be like a grant where you pretty much, because I try to tell people, man, keep your budgets as low as possible. You can make a great film with a low budget. So it'd be like, we'll give you 20 grand.
That's even better because
we'll give you 20 grand to make a feature film documentary, but it has some requirements.
Necessity is the mother of invention. That's better.
Yeah, but it'll have some requirements because I'm all about self-distribution as well. You can't just come in your plan, your proposal saying that we're going to do film festivals. Nah, you got to say that we're going to do these amount of screenings. We're going to have these type of ancillary products, attached to the film that we can sell with merchandise. We want to see all that because we're all about being self-sufficient all around, man. So it's really going to force people to start thinking outside of the box, because a lot of filmmakers are still living in the past of wanting to get in the Sundance and getting a distribution deal. That's not happening no more.
Right. The things of the old are no longer happening. Even though they say like there's nothing new under the sun and different things like that, a lot of things have changed, especially with this distribution game, especially with the way the film industry used to be. We talked about that a little bit in regards to the music game as well in the streaming. So but this is the thing about that, right? Even though these things are occurring, people shouldn't be discouraged, because there's always new ideas that come up in people's minds on a daily basis. So I'm so happy we had this talk tonight. I know we have several people that are still on with us that really have been chiming in. Here we go with Anthony Ravicchio and Pamela Clark. We have time for some more comments. Is that okay? And questions as well? Excellent, since I'm back on. Excellent. So Pamela Clark says, the movie The Free State of Jones, the story of Newton Knight and some Confederate slaves who aided the Union. Do you know of them?
No, I've heard of that
movies?
film though. I heard about the film. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it.
Excellent. Okay, that's what she was mentioning. Adrian says nice. And then Anthony Revicchio says, has he attempted to get funding via the city where some of those grants require minority hiring, So he's wondering if you gotten any or attempted to get any funding from the city where some of these grants, require you to hire, minority people.
Some grants we've gotten, some we haven't. They haven't been real big. That's what we're doing also in our downtime as well during this COVID-19 thing. We had a lot of grants. I actually, I hired a grant writer, a sister, to assist with that. So we have a whole bunch of grants that we're working on now, and we'll see. So I decided to hire someone to help me with that instead of just trying to do it myself. So
Right.
This sister is excellent. So we're working towards a lot of those things now. So we'll keep you in touch. We'll keep in touch of how that go, because usually, when you get a grant, they'll make a big announcement. So if I get something, I'll let you guys know. Y'all can spread the word about it.
My first grant, you see this poster back here? I don't know if you could see it. I'll take a picture and send it to you, but it's of the first grant I won. Yeah. And it was so amazing because I never even thought that, little old me would be able to accomplish such a big feat, even though it's not for the biggest amount of money, but it's something. And exactly. And so ever since that one though, I got a second one and I just put in for a third one, and I'm working on getting a fourth one. So the thing though, I want people to understand about grants though, even though I love, what Anthony said, it's so restrictive, right? Yeah. With grants, like what I realized is, holy mother freaking cow. I hate the curse, but it's out of control how much, they expect you to do with this money and things like that. So, once you get into the bigger numbers, then you have some leeway. But when you're starting out, for those that are watching for the first time, understand that once you get a grant, it's a lot of work that goes into getting the grant, but also there's a lot of requirements behind getting the grant. So, but you know what? Speak to us then about other funding then. Let's talk about some other funding that you've gotten. I know you said an NBA player was able to bless your life. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, my man David West. He played with the New Orleans Hornets back in the day. Then he played with the Pacers. Then he went to San Antonio. And then his last 2 years in the league, he won 2 championships with the Golden State Warriors. But he was a big influence and helped a lot with that. We partnered up, and that was a big help. And also Tariq Nasheed, that did Hidden Colors. He gave me some startup funds at the beginning of my film. Yeah, man. I actually did a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign for Wilmington on Fire, and I reached out. I just sent him an email, said, hey, send him some footage, sent him the campaign. He dropped a couple of G's on me. You know what I'm saying? And he started wearing the Wilmington on Fire shirt on his platform, and so I was able to tap into his audience as well. I love that. To the Hidden Colors audience. So
I love that.
So we do all type of things like that, crowdfunding, grants. We also reinvest the money we make on our film projects too, and we spread it out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not buying a Bentley and nothing with the money. I'm just You know, it goes right into other projects. That's how we kind of keep
Quick
this thing
question.
going.
What crowdfunding do you use? Because I have a crowdfunding site where it's zero interest.
Yeah.
So it's called kiva.org. You ever heard of Kiva?
No, I ain't never heard of that. Only ones I've used, in my experience, I've used Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Seed and Spark is a new one. And that's strictly just for film. And
Wait,
Well, this one is just crowdfunding, but zero interest because it's a nonprofit. The only thing is you have to pay because it's global. So if people believe in your project, they throw money at you. But only agreement is you have to pay them back, and that's it.
Okay.
If you don't pay them back on agreed upon date, then they charge you. But other than that, it's zero interest, nothing. So I'm gonna put that in the room.
Put that in the room. I want to check that out. Thank you.
And which ones were you saying, Christopher? You said Indiegogo for sure.
Yeah, Kickstarter and Seed and Spark.
Seed and Spark. Interesting.
Yeah, Seed and Spark's are real good. When they're real good people, they really support filmmakers. I've had quite a few projects on there. They're specifically for film, and they help push it out there and everything. They're real cool.
Excellent. Well, guys, I think we've kept this brother on long enough. You just sent that for sure, Dion. And then last comment, because I know it's already 10:18. Dion, we can get back on our last Zoom, last thoughts thing if you have time in a little bit after we wrap up. Consider creating investment fund from scratch is the last question we're reading. Have you ever considered creating an investment fund from scratch?
Yeah. Once I, get to that level, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's, I want to do things like that eventually, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not there yet. But I definitely would like to get to that type of level, to do something like that. And like I was saying earlier, like some type of grant project as well,
yes.
For filmmakers and, not only just for documentaries, but for narrative, filmmakers as well. So it's a lot of things I want to do. But again, I have to take things, one project at a time.
That's right.
But we'll get there.
I love that. And don't forget your favorite host of the AniYa A show. We'll talk offline, see what we can get going to, because, I want to take this to a bigger platform, Christopher. So we will definitely stay in touch. And I know I had to fight my fears, talking about those fears. Listen, this wasn't easy launching this and doing this every night, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Yeah. But guess what? I knew that this had to be done for such a time as this. And even with all the technical problems and all the issues that we run into, the information that comes through the feedback is so amazing. And the guests are just what blow me away. And that's why I do what I do. So with that being said, Dion, anything that you wanted to close out with? Because I know you probably have a million things, but one last thing, Dion, because we've kept this brother on for a minute.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, man. Like I said, you have my information, a nice information. I'm a plethora of resources. And let's take it from there. If you want to do the idea I just pitched you, or if somebody steals it from me, that's fine. But yeah, we're in New York for you, brother. We're here to support you. And, me and Mai will throw some pennies at you to support you as well, to, either donate or buy your brand and share it through our network. So that's the words of encouragement and incentive, to keep this going, conversation going.
That's right. Anything that you wanted to end with, my brother?
I just want, just to thank you again for you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Anytime, someone, gives me a platform to talk about what I do and promote my work. Thank you again, because you didn't have to do that.
Oh, wow.
And I really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to continue to be, a fan of the show and continue to watch. So again, WilmingtonOnFire.com. If people want to see Wilmington on Fire, go to WilmingtonOnFire.com. Black Beach, White Beach, go to Amazon Prime, watch it this weekend.
Oh yeah, this weekend for sure. And I can't wait because I know one thing for sure. I grew up partially in South Florida. Most of my life was in South Florida. I lived in the ATL myself for many years. I know of the racism and the issues of these communities, especially when it comes to the KKK and things of that nature, So I definitely have always been a supporter, and I will continue to support, especially now that I have a lot more information. I applaud you. I commend you. It takes an enormous amount of courage and strength to jump out into the deep. And I'm so happy that you did, because I know you've inspired so many others. And I know you'll continue to inspire, because especially now, while we're going through this mess that we're in, people are looking for answers. People are looking for help in all sorts of ways. Matter of fact, let me say this. Earlier today, there was a young man on the platform of the train. And I usually don't talk about this, but this is something that I felt necessary to talk about, to plug this in. Earlier on the platform in Brooklyn, I believe it was, you know, this young man was on the platform about to jump. He was there for several hours, you know, and for all those that are watching, I usually don't talk about the whole word, the S word, the suicide word. I hate putting it out in the atmosphere, but all of us have had moments where we couldn't take it anymore. All of us probably wanted to give up for one reason or the other. Something inside of you has to be going forward and telling you, though, to never give up. And you, Christopher, are example of that. You could have given up. You probably could have offed yourself when you lost your career, when you saw things not working out, you know, the way you wanted, but you rebranded yourself, reinvented yourself, and look at you today. So guys, I wanted to leave that, you know, with you guys to remind you that things may not be going up to par. You may be feeling some kind of way about the way you see your life presently, but guess what? There's a day that's coming where you will see everything manifest. So do not give up. It's our time. This is our closing song, guys. It's your girl AniYa A of the AniYa A Show. You've been tuning in and listening to Christopher Everett of Wilmington on Fire 1, 2, Black Beach, White Beach, and so many other great projects. Christopher, thank you. Dion, thank you. It's our time with Lachi. This is our ending song. If you want to stay tuned with us and listen to the song, it's really awesome, Christopher.
Yeah, I'll stay and I'll make some comments on the comment section.
Yes, thank you. I'm sure they want to hear from you. This is Lachi, guys. Our theme song. Thank you, Christopher. We love you. We appreciate you, man. Seriously. Dion, great job.
Thank you all.
Yes, you see, this is a good one because I got to tap into my degree that I don't use and all that other stuff, you know.
Exactly, Mr. Media Man.
Have you ever heard of the term diagenic sound?
Nah.
All right, that means linking up the sound. Because remember, we did the strips and all that stuff. So you had to link the film strips to the actual sound strips and then link it. The first thing they taught me in films class is like, listen, you come here, it's like learning how to read. What we teach you, you won't be able to learn because you will never look at a TV show or a movie the same again.
Right.
You're gonna know a concept about continuity errors, bad lighting, you know. And then when I saw that movie after classes, I was like, this is garbage, you know.
Right.
These people, they said the difference between college and film academy is that college teaches you critical thinking. Film academy teaches you how to shoot, but they don't know storytelling and, you know, they don't know how to be innovative like we are. So that's why college is different from film.
It is. I work with people that, you know, have went to, you know, the traditional, you know, college route and learn film, but they know the technicals, man, but they don't really know how to put a project together. You know, they don't know how to market it. You know what I'm saying? They don't.
That's the film academy, but in college you get the critical thinking aspect.
Right. So, yeah, I kind of, you know, I talk to film folks all the time, man, that just want to know how to, you know, different ways of creating products around, you know, the film. Because that's the main thing, man, is figuring out different products that you can sell with the film. Because, you know, that's what the big studios do. You know what I'm saying? They don't really, you know, they'll make $1 billion off a movie, but they'll make about $10 billion off the toys and licensing and
Star Wars
stuff. Yeah, and all that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like finding those ancillary products, you know what I'm saying, that you can sell.
We're going to take our time. We're going to rule the world, guys. I love it. Yes, it's the new generation. Yes, we did it, guys. Have a super blessed night. For all those that stayed tuned the entire time on the AniYa A show, we totally appreciate all the comments, all the views, all the shares, all the love. Continue to support us as we continue to support each and every one of you. Until we chat again tomorrow night at the same black time, at the same black space, it's your girl AniYa A with your fancy doodle co-host, creative genius, Mr. Dion Powell. And again, you are listening to our friend, Mr. Christopher Everett, producer, director, and just an amazing example of never giving up. Good night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Later.
Right. Right.